Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Huge Pop, from the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, and with me is my partner, Reek, a.k.a. Rico. Tonight, our guest on the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast is a Japanese-American professional wrestler. He currently wrestles in an independent circuit. He is a booker for an independent promotion in Florida called Thunder Championship Wrestling. Our guest is a former NWA National Heavyweight Champion, a former NWA North American Heavyweight Champion, and a former NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion. Please welcome to the HPWP, the Tokyo Monster Kahagus. How you doing today?
Welcome, man.
Hey, guys. How you doing, Scott? Reek, good to have you, man. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. I hope I didn't butcher that last name.
Yeah, you did. Everybody does, bro. It's a common, typical thing. It's I've been called every fucking thing but the right thing. You know what I mean?
All right. But so can I ask you to say the right thing?
Yeah, it's Kahagus.
Kahagus. You know what? I said that over and over and over again to my wife. I said, it's Kahagus. It's Kahagus. It's Kahagus. And then I get the Nazi, and then I messed it up.
Hey, you know what? All the ring announcers do the same fucking thing. So it ain't no thing, bro.
All right, man.
He's just used to it. It's like nobody's gonna get that right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, my thing is I just like to get in the ring. I listen to the ring announcers, and they fuck it up, and I could tell them. I could tell them exactly how to say it, just like you said, and they repeat themselves, and they go out there and they say it. And the best thing is I just remind them right there,
Well, thank you. So,
that's all good.
Talk to us about your childhood watching wrestling, how growing up, and how was that experience?
Man, I think, anybody in this business, involved with this business, or just a fan of this business, they all got their own little story of how they got into wrestling, and a lot of it's the same to an extent, as far as in your childhood, you flip on that TV and, there you go, bro. You're stuck like Chuck. I was probably, man, I was at least 5-6 years old, and I remember the match exactly when I turned on. It was Dusty Rhodes and Harley Race for the World Heavyweight title. And all I remember is just Harley on his knees and just blood and all this shit, and then it seemed like a couple weeks later I ran into it again, but that was just my main, after that for years, I don't recall really, of course, those are just those moments that you remember. And, just growing up, I thoroughly watched it, and back with the Georgia Championship Wrestling, and, you'd catch World Class all the time and USWA. So I wasn't, I didn't even know WWF even existed until the night that the Sheik and Hogan wrestled. Dude, that was the first time I ever watched that. So most of my childhood was Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida, and, your Texas wrestling, and, Georgia, and a lot of that stuff. So, it's one of them deals.
Okay. Do you have any heroes growing up in wrestling?
Man, I've been asked that a bunch of times, and it's just like I couldn't just, I could never give a straight answer to that. So I mean, to me, I think they're all great, man. They're all the reason why I'm in this business, So, all of them are the ones that caught my eye, and just wrestling in general, man. So I don't think I really had the favors, I mean, there are the ones that you recall the most, and, like your Kevin Sullivans and Barry Windham's back day as a baby face. There's the ones that stuck out and stuff that, more memorable, of course. But to me, I couldn't say anybody, bro. Just all of them.
Okay, all right, Rico.
Well, man, so you have had many championships. You've held many titles. I got to ask you, which one's your number one favorite title and why?
Well, I mean, that's kind of simple. I mean, the NWA Worlds Heavyweight title to me is the most prestigious title, of course, that I've ever had, and one of the most prestigious titles in the industry. And, I'd be a fool to say it wasn't. I mean, it's, I mean, I haven't gone beyond or above that. So, and to me, that's, what they call it, the king of the mountain. You're the man. And I was just lucky and fortunate that I was able to, fit that spot, fill that spot for a short time.
So when you decided to become a professional wrestler, obviously you had to go to training school and train. So where did you go for training, and who was your trainer?
Well, my story is a lot different than most, man. And it's one of them stories like when I first got into the business, I'm from a little town, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, where no one else is from. And I recall, championship wrestling from Florida and Florida championship wrestling coming through here. And it's always a big fan. And back during the WCW days, when they started getting into the cruiserweights and a lot of that stuff, it got more intriguing. And I think it, probably gave a lot of other people, more enticement to try to follow, and become a wrestler, because there was a lot of smaller guys in that era. And I never said I was a big guy, I was never a small guy, but I wasn't a big guy. So I was kind of always honest with myself. And, it was one of those things, like I would have classified myself as a junior heavyweight. And so it just kind of, I was getting a little older. And at one time when I was like 18, I tried to get into the business, and, it was hard to do. And, there was nothing like you could just find an ad in the paper or go online, there was no such thing. And so years later, I decided I wanted to do it. It was one of those things, if you don't try it, you're going to wish one day you did. And, sometimes I wish one day I didn't, but I ran into Tyree Pride, which, the Haitian sensation Tyree Pride, I heard he had lived in my area. And so I ran into him, and I told him I was interested in, wrestling. And of course we didn't have a ring or anything like that. So I did a little homework and found out the ex-sheriff was a pro wrestler. And actually he was Mike Graham's best friend, and, worked with Dusty and the whole 9 yards. He was part of the old Florida territory. And so I confided in him, and he gave me a ring that was out on his property in the middle of an orange grove. And I went out there, and I had a couple local retired independent wrestlers that I had met. And I went out to this orange grove, and in the bottom, the ring canvas was level with the sand because the rails were sunk into the dirt. And the ring ropes, I remember as soon as I stepped up on it, I just touched the bottom rope, and it just snapped, just fell off. And it was a white boxing canvas, and it would run the slick ones. So, when I got in there, it wasn't running the ropes and all this shit. These guys started just beating my ass, and they're older veterans, and Tyree Pride come out there, and they showed me how to bump. They showed me how to do this and that. But they didn't, they still didn't expose the business to me so much, I would say. And what I mean by that is, they clearly beat my ass and showed me, some basics. And, like I said, there was no ropes and stuff involved. So I just kept coming back. I had no clue what I was doing. I kept coming back 2-3 days a week, or whoever would come out there. And they just kept helping me, and I saved money. I rebuilt the whole entire ring by myself. It was an old ring from back in the Florida days, and all the piping on the whole entire thing was pipe. It wasn't square tubing or angle or nothing. The whole thing was pipe. So I rebuilt that whole thing, and at that time I ran into another guy locally who wanted to train. So me and him went out there, and Tyree Pride and Tom Horn, which was the sheriff, and a couple guys by the name of Ed Westfield and Terry Hart, they did a lot of my training. And then along with Tyree Pride was my main guy. And then as things evolved a little bit, I started doing shows. My first independent show, and I trained for about a year and a half, and then my first independent show I went to, I've never been to an independent show in my life. I never even knew it existed. So when I went there, it was, pretty shocking on how bad it was, And so, that's where I got started. And after that, I proceeded and I got involved with Tyree Pride, well, not Tyree Pride, but Hector Guerrero, which was great friends with Tyree Pride. Hector took me under his wing, was a big mentor to me. And then I was turned on to John Tinta and Prince Iakea. And Prince became a great friend of mine. And he would come down to where I live and train with me twice a week for nothing, and it was the thing about it is I'll be honest with you, I never paid a dime to train ever.
Wow.
Really?
And when I went in there and I got into the business and started working, we were a little bit shy on, me and the other guy were a little bit shy on like saying where we were trained, because these guys go into wrestling schools, these guys got that. We're training in an Orange Grove, you know what I mean? And so we started jumping into other training schools and stuff around Florida, and just constantly we were, going and driving, 3 hours each way to go train 2-3 days a week, and just to get out of where we are so we can go experience and work with other people and stuff.
Okay.
And so, things just evolved from there, and, just start taking off. And, I just always tried to progress and improve everything I did. I never even had a gimmick. I was just Kahagus, and I ran around in a pair of yellow camouflage pants. That was it.
All right.
So I started just like everybody else,
Yeah. So we got some fans in the chat box, and one of them is pretty familiar with you. And I know this guy personally. I've seen him in XIW, Extreme Impact Wrestling. Damian Wayne says he's scared of Damian Wayne. And then he says, turn the bull on. So can you talk about what that means, what he's talking about?
Well, the part of him saying that I'm scared of him, no, I don't know what he's talking about. But the bull, yeah, definitely. Damian, I got a lot of respect for Damian, and we've damn sure tore it up a bunch of times. And it was one of the things with me and Damian is we got in the ring, and it was, to me, and since the day one, it was almost, the chemistry was just always so good with us, and we went out and we did what we wanted to do and get over, and the bull subject was we were working in I believe it was like a street fight or something in the Carolinas. I think it was Raleigh or Charlotte, wherever AML was running at the time. And we were fighting in a bar, and we went around, and they had a mechanical bull.
Okay.
So we went through the bar and then over the river, through the woods and all that shit. And we got to the mechanical bull, and we started fighting, and I put him on it and I got on it. And then by that time, the whole building was just blowing up saying, turn no bull on. Turn the bull on. It's on YouTube too. So I mean, it was a cool moment, I mean, and then it turned it on, and then we fucking fly off, in the big pop. So,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I got a lot of memorable times with Damian. There ain't no doubt about that, man.
Yeah, man. He's a phenomenal dude, and it's sad that he retired there earlier this year. So,
hey, I'll tell you what, he's got more balls than me to do that. You know, that's not an easy thing to do, bro. You know, I mean, you know, once you've been around the business for a while, you know, and you start understanding why these other veterans, they're still doing it. They're still climbing the ring at 70, 60, 70 years old. You know why. It's the same reason we do every time. And sometimes you got to, you know, step down for what you want to do. And sometimes it's the best things for you. But I don't know if Damien's retired, man. I mean, you know, this is wrestling, bro. You know?
Anything can happen.
Yeah, Damien, if you're watching this, Damien, you know
all the shit he's talking, you know, I mean, I can just run it right back. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to answer my calling and get in the ring?
Oh,
I mean, fuck, you know, I mean, that's not a hard thing to do, man. You know,
Damian Wayne, you heard it right here, Damian Wayne. If you're still listening, I think on the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, Kahagus challenged you to one more match. Do you have enough in you to lace them boots up one more time? You heard it right on the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. So thank you for that. Rico.
It's going to go down. Just wait.
We're seeing, huh? Right now he's fucking cussing. Actually, his old lady's cussing him.
It probably is. All right.
Oh my goodness. So, man, out of everybody you've gotten to wrestle, like, who is it that you never got to wrestle but you really wish you did? Like, is there anybody who pops in your head?
Yes, right off the bat, Cody Rhodes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is because, I mean, I was fortunate to work with his dad. I was able to tag with his dad. I was able to wrestle against his dad. I was able to tag with his brother, and I was able to tag with and wrestle against his brother. So to me, you know, the icing on the cake is Cody. So that would be probably off the top. But other than that, if I was to go on the fly, I mean, goddamn, man, there's so many guys out there you can ramble on about. Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, blah, 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 you know. But to be real, yeah, probably Cody, you know, because I feel like I broke a lot of accolades and you know, my own personal being. And you know, something like that would be something cool to me.
Gotcha.
And I don't think there's many people in this business right now that's done that.
Well, true Damian Wayne form, it took him 2 minutes. At 8:21, at 8:20, he says, "I will always have one more for him." He knows us too damn well. So let's make it happen, guys. That'd be awesome to see. So I'll have to keep in touch with you all to see if this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to book it.
Maybe I'll have to talk to Adrian Whisper at XIW Extreme Impact Wrestling. Make it happen. What do you think, Damien? So I was listening. I read some stuff of how important is it to you to pay your dues and pay back to the business that you
100% bro. 100%. You know, because you know, that was one thing that was expressed to me in the beginning of this, but you know, when I started, pay your dues. And it wasn't by listening to other indie guys or nothing like that. It was from where I started. You know, these are guys that did pay their dues. You know, these are the guys that didn't make it, but they paid their dues. They set up the rings. They did everything, you know, and pay your dues means so many different things too. You know, do your job, you know, travel, get there, get back. You know, everybody's worried about a fucking payday. That's the most irking thing that pisses me off more than anything is everybody's worried about a payday. Like they're entitled to gas money, you know, or whatever, you know, and in this industry, you know, this business, it's about building and having a place to go. And it's a sacrifice. This whole business is a sacrifice. And with these guys, you know, I mean, put it this way. I remember I was three years in and I got $30 and I was like, fuck yeah, 2 more years, I'll be at 50, you know, and it's just, in the one way people got to look at this is, you know, everybody's got a budget when it comes to a promotion or a company. And I knew this, not just because I'm involved with one, but I know this because this is how I work with people. I understand what they got. You know, they have a budget. So if you're trying to break that budget, well, are you going to come back? Are you going to run again? Are they going to run again?
Right.
So if you pay everybody what they want, well, me personally, I'd rather take $50 every week instead of $100 a month.
Right.
You know, so it's one of those things, you know, as far as that and paying your dues, it's like everybody thinks they know everything. You know, even they act like they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
They claim they know everything when they don't know shit.
Right.
You know, and it's not something you just get. I mean, I got it, and I'll tell you what, I looked for it, and I wanted it and wanted it and wanted it for years. And I traveled and I put myself around those people that did have it, you know, and I was told I'm going to get it. And, you know, 8 years in the business, I got it. And I ain't turned around. I've done nothing but just get better at it. And it's a lost art form. And there's clearly so many people out there, veterans, you know, that's been on the circuit or in their own territories for years that a lot of people's got respect for and this and that. And you talk to them and they're the biggest hypocrites, you know, but they're out here preaching, but they're the ones that are doing everybody wrong, or they don't understand even why this is going on. They're all just, everybody's worried about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't about me. And, you know, and to me, at the end of the day, it ain't about the fans. You know, when everybody say for the fans, that's bullshit. You don't do it for the fans. You do it for yourself. I said, if you're thanking anybody, you should be thanking the promoters that put you on that platform and booked you and gave you had faith in you to use you. That's who you thank, because you would have never been in front of those fans if it wasn't for them.
Sure.
You know, but they rather go in there and fucking try to, you know, get paid, be big dogs, do what the fuck they want, when that's not the deal. You know, you can make somebody just as quick as, and you can break them just as quick as you make them. And that's a proven fact on TV every fucking week. You know, it's not hard. So, you know, no one appreciates, you know, what they're getting. Everybody feels entitled. And that's where they're not paying their dues. They're not fucking, you know, doing their jobs. They're not hustling. They're not, you know, driving. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. And it's just ridiculous. No one wants to set up a ring. No one wants to tear down a ring. No one wants to promote. No one wants to do anything, you know? And it's like, that's fine, you know? Well, that ain't the way we work where we're at, you know? It's one of those things, you know? It's just, it can be a frustrating business. And when I say that, I can have conversations like this every day with people and do nothing but just get pissed off. And I do it all the time. And it always ends with the same solution. It's like, all we do is can get pissed off.
Right.
You know, there's nothing we can do, because I mean, and the reason why we're pissed off is because we love and believe in this business and the tradition and the history and in the psychology and, you know, the whole fucking schmaz of the what made the business.
Right.
But no one else does anymore. You know, they say they do, but they don't. It's all about themselves.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I can really see it. Yeah.
It's fucked up, right? It's true.
It is. That is messed up.
I mean, that's a very solid point there, man.
I mean, I guess I've always heard stories of, I mean, Damian Wayne was telling a story, and those guys from XIW, how they all get to the arena early, and they all pitch in setting it up, and they all stay late taking it down, because that's what they do, and that's what's important to them. Because
I'll tell you what. I'm sure you guys have heard of Micro Wrestling Federation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's actually here next to me.
Okay. Oh, up there in Tennessee?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Jack's a good friend of mine, the owner of it. And when they come through my town or wherever I'm at, if they're around, I always go see them. They're friends of mine. They're going to be here like in a week or two. But if you ever go to one of their shows, I'm going to tell you what it's like. These guys pull up in a van, pull in a trailer, or a motorhome pull in a trailer, and all these guys get out, and there's maybe 7 guys. They'll go out there, unload that ring, set up a complete production, the whole 9 yards, sell tickets, be the ring announcer, be the commentators, and the talent out of 7 guys, and have 5 matches.
Wow.
And then when they're done, that shit is gone and loaded up and out of there in an hour. And you know where they're going the next morning? They're driving 100 miles north or 500 miles north to the next show. They stay busy. What was it? He said like 50 some days a month. He has 2 crews. They wrestle 4 to 5 days a week.
Dang.
That's paying your dues.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing you mentioned them because actually I was looking to see when they wrestle here next because I live in Sevierville. That's where they like to wrestle here, Sevierville or Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, Pigeon Forge.
Yep.
Yeah, you go there, and I mean that's their home base, so you won't see that. But when they're on the road, it's unreal, man. I mean, these guys, this is the hardest working wrestling crew I've ever seen.
Crazy.
That just shows dedication right there, man.
Yeah.
Really.
Bro, they're kicking it, man. I mean, they're the type, they're not going home for months. Little Show, one of the main guys there, I was talking to him, and he says he hadn't been home in 3 months. He's got a new baby. Fuck, married, new baby, and all that, and he's on the road. But that's the life that he chose, and that's the life he does. But like a lot of people don't see that sacrifice that's involved.
Yeah, that's right. You listen to everyone's stories, and like back when you had to hustle really hard, sleeping in your car, or taking a shower at truck stops, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That don't happen anymore. It's kind of just like, all right, here you go. You come to this promotion, you're good.
Yeah, it does, and it's some of it's by choice. A lot of times I'll go places, man, and bro, I couldn't tell you how many times I've said shit. The night I won the world title, I slept on the floor at the airport. So I mean, it's not an uncommon thing, but it is what it is, But the travel, it's a lot of work. It's a lot on your body, man. Doing that stuff every night, then hopping in a car and driving 6, 8, 10 hours into the next town. Those little guys right there, man. They got more respect than they ever know from me.
That's awesome.
That's paying your dues.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. That's mad respect for you.
So I was going to ask you. So you're talking about like the NWA title. That was the most prestigious one you ever held. Did you ever want to go to like a WWF or WCW, Impact, or AEW?
I think my goal was WCW, just because that was what I grew up on, kind of, a transformation from Georgia Championship Wrestling to World Championship Wrestling and all that stuff. And I think that was kind of my go-to. And then when it defunct, it was one of those things I wasn't, I wasn't a guy to like apply, but when I got into business, just like anybody else, I mean, that's your goal. You have a goal in this business, and what it is anybody who gets into the business, they want one thing, and it's to be a professional wrestling star, superstar. They're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it for this. They're not doing it for that. They're doing it to become that pro wrestling star. The money comes with it. Everybody wants to go to the WWE. Well, I mean, in whatever other major companies are out there, because that's the goal. That's the only goals we have. It's not like we got, it's the football where you got, how many teams to choose from and how many guys got spots. Right. It's not the same. So, moving on up, I was never a guy to really apply, like put an application in, I guess you should say. I was the guy that always wanted just to be seen and walked on the field. Okay. And, and it worked for me. I've done that. But, I mean, that's me, not thinking right and, not thinking I'm big-headed or, something's going to happen like that. But that's just me in general and my personality on how I approach things. And, that was probably a downfall for me because I didn't apply. And I did go to Impact and hung out at Impact, for a while, in the back helping and stuff like that. And then, but it's one of those things, everybody's chasing a dream, man. And, you're not everybody gets there. And in this business, majority won't ever even see the daylight of it. And, so, Gangrel once told me one time, he said, it's not the dream. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, the journey is the jewel. You're not going to get that dream, but you're going to get that jewel. And it's along that whole journey. Everything that you've developed, just like what I'm saying is I would have never thought I would have been inducted to the Cauliflower Alley Club. I didn't have a goal to become NWA World Champion. I didn't even know I was even going to work for him or even a thought. Those are things that just happen. You can't control your dreams. Shit happens, right? Mm-hmm. So no one ever gets to the end of the dream majority of the time, right? Nah, hell no. So it's just one of them deals, So when he told me that, man, it really made me honestly feel better, more humbled about what I've done and what I've accomplished instead of what I didn't accomplish.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Love it, man. Thank you.
So about a few years ago, you were tag teaming with Michael Tarver, and you faced a team by Controversial Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are the current XIW tag team champions. What were they like back then? I know they're a bunch of arrogant team now. What was it like facing those guys?
They're Carlos and Salazar. It was great working with them. I think they just kind of got together in the recent, year or two and started tagging. I'm not really sure, but I knew Carlos from Puerto Rico. Okay. And so, and it was one of those things where we're building Thunder Championship Wrestling, and we needed some tag teams and a good heel one. And I had been on a lot of shows with them and stuff in recent. And so we did something, and man, they were great to work with. I mean, everything was good. And La Brava, the girl, she's great. I mean, on the mic, she's fucking awesome. But it's a good team. And the thing is when I look at a team like that, Controversial Inc., and that was, I don't know how many years ago, probably 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Yeah.
Well, they're still together.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a solid tag team. Those guys are committed to each other. They know that, if they're going to go do something, they have to both hit the road together and do it. And, to have each other's back, like it's hard to find tag teams that are going to last that long, and actually like commit to each other. Right. And just run with it. But they, from what I've seen, they've had a lot of success. They've been, doing good, going to Puerto Rico, and it looks like they stay real busy on the Florida circuit, but no, I love them guys, man. They're good hand. And for what they were when I worked them before, I have no doubt they've even gotten better. I mean,
they're amazing.
They're good dudes, man.
Super great. So,
well, if you look at comments there, I don't know if you saw that huge power. Wiccan says your match versus D'Lo Brown was really good.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was like right when I started wearing the paint time ago,
Mm-hmm.
Rolling it back.
That was my debut. That was my debut with Coastal Championship Wrestling is what that was. Okay. That was my debut, and I went out there and worked D'Lo. First time we met, first time we worked or whatever. And I remember I hit him with a kendo stick, right? And then he hit me back with a chair.
Wow.
And brother, them fucking plastic chairs, they hurt real bad, bro. They hurt worse than a steel kit chair, I mean, they just sting, bro, like fire. And he hit me, bro, and it was just like, oh my fucking God. You just take it, and then I think I've worked D'Lo like 3 or 4 times, and there's another memorable moment with D'Lo. We were working at the Hard Rock in South Florida, And this is when he was going, to Japan, when he was over there with Noah and all that stuff. And he just flew in that day.
Huh?
Like right before our match got to the building. And so we go out there, and bro, it wasn't D'Lo. When I say that, we went in there, and bro, he was hitting me like a fucking bag of lead bricks. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? So after the match, I'm like, bro, what the? You know what he tells me? He's, bro, I looked across the ring and I thought I was still in Japan.
Dang, there you go.
Oh, that's great.
That's it right there.
I mean, what do you say, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Man, there's a lot I could talk about. You mentioned the Cauliflower Alley and you winning the award from there. The first time I ever heard about Cauliflower Alley was from Herb Simmons in an interview a few months ago. And
Herb's
can you talk about your interaction with Herb Simmons?
Man, I've had nothing but good interactions with Herb. Herb is the real deal, man. I mean, and he's got the credibility and the background and the history to back it all up too.
Yeah.
He's been promoting for over 40 years in the Midwest, and I got introduced to him by a buddy of mine by the name of TNT Kenny G. He's the father. He was a wrestler. He's the father of Santana Garrett, and so he moved out to the Midwest, and he ran a little promotion out there I'd go to, and eventually me and her met. And, from then on out, I was just kind of going up there. I went up there quite a bit for Herb and worked with him and got to do a lot of really good stuff with a lot of really good people. And, and he runs a real solid show. And, at that time, Larry Masick was there and Larry Matisick. And so I got to spend time with him and just see how he operates. But, Herb Simmons he's first class, man. There ain't nobody who can say nothing bad about Herb Simmons.
No, I do. Just like I'm doing with your promotion in Florida, him and we exchange. He sends talent our way, and he's a great guy. And nothing bad to say about him.
Right? No, not at all. He's done a lot for me, man. So I owe a lot of those people, man, and I'll be the first one to put them over because. Just like I go back and I say, if it wasn't for people like him, I wouldn't have had those opportunities.
Right.
So.
Thank you, man. Rico?
So is there anybody that you kind of, like, I would say, I guess your favorite wrestler right now where you're just like, man, I got to watch this guy wrestle or this lady wrestle? Is there anybody you really have to watch wrestle? You like them so much?
No. I don't watch wrestling, bro. I don't watch it. I watched that show, the Wrestlers with OVW on Netflix, bro. That was awesome. But I don't watch wrestling. I don't. I've started watching a little bit of WWE in the last couple months, maybe once or twice, but I just don't, man. I don't know. I mean, AEW, I'm just, it's just not a fan. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not into watching this stuff so much anymore. I mean, I'll watch clips of wrestling, independent matches that guys just pop up on social media at times, just to watch different shit and, and old school stuff. But yeah, I don't really watch it, man. So I couldn't even tell you who's on top.
There you go.
Just don't care for it. Like,
Well, I mean it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, like WWE, of course, if any of them, I'm going to watch that more so, just because they, tend to make more sense to me. Like if you can tune in tune in and by the end of that match kind of understand what's going on, like in a storyline or something, that to me, that means something, you know. But if you can watch the thing and still not have a fucking clue, well, yeah, I don't know. But, you know, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on, and it's not just on TV, it's on the indies every day. So it's wrestling now. There's nothing's a surprise, and, you know, it just is what it is. Outnumbered.
That's what remember a huge pop. We were talking about it not so long ago, where it's, you know, because I sit there, record it to watch it. A lot of times I catch myself just fast forwarding through stuff. It's like, you know, like, okay, yeah.
Now, do you think that storylines?
Go ahead.
Do you think No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Your turn.
No, I mean, what I was going to say, it's just like, it's hard to get that element of surprise in everything nowadays because everything's being done, you know. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to outshow everybody, you know, and that's not it. That's not the way it works.
So do you think storylines you think storylines have suffered now compared to what they were back when you started?
Oh yeah. I think gimmicks and storylines is, you know, to me that's a huge part of wrestling. I mean, think about it. You know, back in the day, you had your Kevin Sullivans that were the Devils, and then you got you know the Ultimate Warrior. You got Brutus Beefcake, Hulk Hogan. You know, Dusty Rhodes. You know, everybody had their own individuality. You know, no one has that now so much. Individuality is what you remember. You don't remember a bunch of guys doing this shit, you know, bouncing around. And that's what makes you stick out. And, you know, I'm a big part of that. I influence that because I feel that's a big part of my gimmick is, you know, is individuality. I'm my own person and I stick out. You're going to remember me if I come back 2 years later, you know, and walk through the curtain. But, you know, storylines and all that. Yeah, because wrestling, the psychology involved in it, you know, there's a reason why you do a steel cage. There's a reason why you do a bull rope match before the steel cage. There's reasons for lumberjack matches, you know, before the steel cage, you know, but those are simple parts of psychology just in matches, you know, but as far as in the ring, you know, you got to get that story over of what you're trying to detail. You know, if you want at the end of the day, you want everybody to know that this guy here wants to kill this guy. Well, at the end of the night, that has to be the highlight if you're going to move forward, you know? So I don't know. People, you know, didn't you follow the storylines when you were a kid?
I did. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there you go. You know, you answer it yourself. It's important. What would it have been like if you were just watching it and they were just doing stuff?
The same thing I feel like it is now. That's why I don't. That's why I don't watch it now. I mean,
there you go.
There's one storyline. It's the Bloodline, and it's, you know, it's a good storyline, but So Tiffany Ann says, ask him how many promos he's cut in his career.
Two. I mean, you know, it's, you know, I don't cut promos. You know, when I'm in gimmick, it's, you know, I've always tried to keep the mystique. That's why my picture's not up on the screen, you know, and if you were to have my picture up on the screen video, I wouldn't be on here talking to you right now, just because, you know, I've always tried to keep that mystique of my character. Because, you know, another thing with paying your dues was the other part of, you know, kayfabe, you know, when I got in the business. And, you know, these guys believed in kayfabe. Tyree Pride's wife never knew anything about the business. He never smartened her up, ever. You know, his son either, until his son was, 16, 18 years old. You know, but so I was kind of in that era there. And, you know, and I'm a tradition guy, and I believe, you know, in stuff like that. And I believe the mystique of wrestling, because that's what kept us all intrigued with it. Is the simple part is when you're watching it, you're going, oh my God, is that real? Or is it? You know what I mean? That's the mystique that's involved with that. So it's like, now it's so open and given away. It's like, to be honest with you, the reason why I talk on a podcast is simply because anybody listening, they should already know, you know. But when I'm working, bro, it's business. I do my thing. I won't talk to you. I just won't, and I don't go around the fans, I just try to keep, like I said, I still believe in kayfabe and in the mystique of the business and my gimmick, and if I was out just walking around talking English or cutting a promo, dude, that'd really fuck my gimmick up. You know what I mean? I don't sound nothing like the way I look.
There you go.
So, it's just one of them deals, bro. But the 2 promos I did a promo when I was inducted into the CAC, and then I did one recently in New England when I inducted my buddy Trooper Gilmore into the New England Hall of Fame recently. But yeah, it's just, is what it is.
There you go.
That reminds me of like Mark Calloway, the Undertaker. He said that's why he never broke character. You want to keep that mystiqueness of the character. Never talked or anything, just always stayed.
Pretty much, man. I mean, that's just, and I believe my gimmick is one of those gimmicks that's what I've always needed to do, and that's just the way I've always been. Even when I first started, I didn't talk to fans. I was never the guy that would go to go eat afterwards with all the guys where all the marks and the fans and stuff are. I was never that guy because I don't like to associate with them. Not that I don't like them, but I don't take free pictures, bro.
There you go. Yeah. Rico, you got anything?
Yeah, I was because we were talking about your past and stuff, and how you got started. So, do you remember your first ever match in front of an audience and how you did?
Oh yeah, that's an unforgettable one, bro. That was the night when I was talking about. I walked into a building and I couldn't believe that was wrestling, and that was in the Leesburg Civic Center, Leesburg Armory here in Florida, and there was easily 500 people there or more, and some of the worst wrestling I ever seen in my entire life to this day. Bro, that's bad. I've seen a lot of wrestling since, and this was bad. So this is bad.
That is bad.
All right,
that is really bad.
This place was packed, bro. It was packed. So we went up there, had no clue what we were doing. A couple of the guys brought us there, and we were supposed to go on first, and then we ended up going on like right before intermission or after intermission or something, and we went out there and we did our thing. And what makes it so memorable is not only the fact that it was a full house in a building like that and the wrestling was so bad, but he shot me into the corner and I springboarded up and I came off with a cross body off the corner, and we went straight through the middle of the ring. Wow. To the floor.
Wow.
It wasn't like, we went through the ring, bro. I still haven't seen a ring like that do that. And but the ring was a piece of shit too. I mean, brutal. But yeah, we went through the middle of the ring and had to take it home, and that was my first match.
That is awesome, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool because that shit's, that's just one of those things that don't happen.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you're a booker, and so my question is, how important are promoters and bookers to the wrestling business?
How important are they?
Yeah.
Oh, to me, they're the most important. I mean, when I say that, is they're running the ship, bro. They're the ones running the ship. They're the ones driving the boat. The captain's standing there, just, he's supplying the boat. You're driving the boat. But, like what we got, I got 2 other guys that are involved with me. They're the owners. And I've known these guys since I started wrestling, one of them. The other one I helped train. years ago, and they live, about an hour or so away, and they approached me and asked me if we wanted to do something, and so I told them, I said, well, the deal is we all got our own jobs. We can all talk, we can agree, we can disagree, but whatever we do, we're going to do what's best for the business, what's best for the company. And so, I do my thing, and, I this is my, first time being a booker for a company. I've promoted tons of shows for just about as long as I've been wrestling. But far to actually like take over a booking position and run the ship and stuff like that, I did it because I knew I could, and I feel that I've sat under a lot of learning trees to get me there. And and we don't try to be better than nobody else. We don't try to, all we do is we just try to make that show the best wrestling show we can possibly do, and so those people can come back next time and we can do it again. That's our whole goal of any of it. We don't care if McDonald's is across the street from Burger King. We don't give a shit. We're doing our thing, and to have a good locker room and to have, a good running show, well, you got to have a general. There ain't no generals out there, man. There ain't nobody, everybody's soft, bro. Everybody's about being nice to everybody. I mean, I get it, but bro, it's business. I'll fire my grandma, bro. It is what it is. And everybody's about booking your friends and, being, I've literally sat there and listened to bookers sit there and watch a match and say, oh God, that's fucking horrible. Just shit all over it. And then turn around and watch them walk through the curtain and say, that was good, guys. That was good, guys. I was thinking, what the fuck just happened here?
Right.
But it is, it's important, man, and we run a tight ship where we're at. And the thing is we don't do it. And these guys get experience too of working under certain circumstances. Everybody, they don't have free reign and free whatever, I mean, we don't give them that. It's like, you do this, you do that, and we're all going to be happy, and we're going to do it again.
Right.
And a lot of guys, they want to get their shit in. They want to, they don't want to lose or any of that stuff. Well, bro, to me, that was one of the most important things in business, is putting people over. And that's how I got to what I did. I was traveling way before the NWA. I was traveling all over just as much, but I was going everywhere and I was putting people over, and that's how you get booked. You put people over. And, everybody, like I said, there you go. They're worried about themselves.
Right.
It ain't like that, man. Me, I got into a business, I get it. You do what's best for the business. I'm a former business owner, so I've got a clue, and, but definitely bookers are, to me, the most important part of the locker room, man, or important part of the, the show. And, if you ain't got a good booker, and, and one guy I put over more than anybody, his name was Dave Johnson, the Blackheart. He was one of the Blackhearts back in the day. And, he was a great friend of mine, him along with Hack Myers. And we traveled every weekend on these Florida roads together, everywhere, all the time. And those guys right there. And Dave was a booker for CCW. And I watched Dave take that company and take it and build it to, there was a 400 to 500 people house every show. And I seen how he did it, and I watched him do it. He was one of my best friends, and like I said, sitting under other learning trees, some of them a lot of people frown on, which is fine with me, but I ain't got a problem with them, and they're passing me knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And some people, there are just legends and stars that anybody wish they could, be able to learn from them. And I've been fortunate to be able to do a lot of that stuff. Now, do I say, do I know everything? Fuck, no, I don't know nothing, man, compared to, these other guys. I'm just doing like everybody else in this business, bro. Every time I go to a show, whether it's in the ring, out of the ring, I learn something, learn something new. it might be something that I need to do, and most of it's shit you learn not to do.
Right,
You know?
right.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
That's good. That's
you
good,
got to
man.
and like I said, to be a booker, you got to be able to tell those guys they suck or they went too long or what the fuck. You know, I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, if you pour
Got
the
to be real with them.
concrete on the wrong side of the street, you gonna be nice about it.
Nope. You're gonna be tearing that shit
Exactly.
up. You're gonna be tearing that shit
Yeah.
up and redoing
Exactly. You're fucking me up. You know,
it. Yeah, yeah,
and you're losing your
yeah,
job, bitch. You know.
yeah.
Yep,
There you go. There you go.
you're done, son.
Rico?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that we all know you've been doing this for a while, man. Do you see yourself anytime soon hanging up those wrestling boots?
Man, you know, I've said that. I've thought about that for probably the last 5-10 years. And, you know, I don't know. I just got a new pair of boots actually like 2 months ago. So now I'm really, you know, I don't know.
Got to break them in.
I ain't even broke in yet, you know, but it's, you know, I wish, you know, I mean, I stay pretty busy. I mean, not as busy as I'd like. I'm always open to more bookings and whatever, you know, but it's just, you know, and one thing is too, bro, this is all I do. This is all I've done for the past almost 15 years is wrestle. No shoot job or anything. This is just what I do. And, you know, and I guess I've just got kind of accustomed to that lifestyle of hustling and, you know, living to wrestle fucking all these years. And, you know, and but it's something you love, you know. I mean, people don't recognize the point that, you know, that you actually have a job that you can go to and look forward to do, and you fucking love doing it, you know, and you can't get enough of it. There ain't many people can go out there on their daily job and say that, you know, when a lot of people look at it as it's not work. Well, why isn't it work? It's just a different kind of work, you know. But you know, but you have to depend on bookings too, and you know, you can't always depend on that shit. So you know, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, there's always thoughts and stuff like that that pop in my head, but I don't know. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you when or if or what. I don't know. I might
Well,
just
break
leave
them new boots
tomorrow.
in.
Fuck, I don't know. Yeah,
Um,
I got a couple matches in them.
um, uh, you named a bunch of people. You know, Kevin Sullivan, Gangrel, Damian Wayne. We had Charlie Haas. I know you had a match with him. He was on a couple days ago, and
Yeah,
it seems.
he's phenomenal, bro. Let me tell you about Charlie Haas, bro. I worked Charlie Haas twice. I was lucky to work him on top twice in Texas, in about a good 5-10 year or 8 year span. You know, from the time I worked him before to the time I worked him again. And Charlie Haas is unbelievable. I mean, to me, he's phenomenal as a wrestler, man. He's one of the best. He's got it all. He has it all. You know, he could do. I mean, he's just great. And getting in the ring just solidifies it with him. You know, it's just he's just so so good. I mean, he's probably, and I've said this before, he's probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever wrestled.
Mad props, man. Mad props.
Twice.
So, family and its brotherhood. Would you say brotherhood would be a good title to give what you guys do, the people that you surround yourself with? Brotherhood must be important for you.
Yeah, to me it is, man. You know, and you know, but you got both of them actually. You got brotherhood, and then you got family. You know, but you love them all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody's got their own little circle. You know, different people and all that. And I'm the guy that I didn't really care if your mama don't like you, just don't fuck with me and we're cool. You know, I mean, but I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You know, but there's those ones that you know that just you know you relate to, and some of them you get a lot closer to, and you know, and it's more or less like family, and then But when you walk in a room, you know, sometimes you just see everybody. It's like that right there, you know, walking in these rooms, sometimes it's just like the highlight of your whole day. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you're so happy to see some of these guys, you know, when you go places and stuff, you know, like Damien, if I got to see him tomorrow, I'd be excited as hell, believe it or not. But
There you go.
But you know, but brother, and all that, it does mean a lot. It means a lot. But the thing is, there's a lot of fucking snakes out there that ride coattails and kiss ass and only talk. You know, one of them things. Only talk to you or get a hold of you when they need something. You know, there are a lot of scumbags like that, man. And you know, I don't like idiots. I don't like dumb shit. So I don't play that role.
Yeah, that's very true. Anywhere you go in life, you got to watch for those snakes, man.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Well, Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast fans, it's 9:04. We've been on with Tokyo Monster Kahagus, for an hour. We've had some great conversation. He's brought up some great psychological stuff, physiological stuff, a lot of stuff that if we can go back and rewatch it, please do. But I'm so stoked about one thing that happened tonight. I think that it'd be cool. I'm gonna press this. It's gonna be Damian Wayne versus the Tokyo Monster. I hope this happens. I really hope this happens. And if this does happen, you got to keep me posted.
Yes.
Sir, that if it happens, I would love to have you and Damian on the podcast like the week before that match, and so we can like do a real fight kind of field conversation for a little bit. I know Damien would love to do that. I'm sure you'd love to do that. I hope somebody out there, hope our promoter out there makes this happen. That'd be awesome. I appreciate your time, sir. I hope I didn't butcher your name too much. I will give you. I'm going to play an exit song. Please hang tight on the screen. Don't go nowhere, and I'll talk to you in the lobby. Thank you again, Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. We love you.
Thank you, guys.
And we're out.
All my dogs, make some noise up in this house. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your head is knocked out. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your head is knocked out. Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with the devil, because when he's dealing with you, you cannot get on this level. Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with a king. It's like a fight with an army. They got the tanks and everything. He's leaving bruises and stitches, possibly leaving you crippled. Cause when he sets up the table and sends you straight through the middle. 6 sadistic 3, beat that ass with a light bulb. Leave a piece of glass embedded in the back of your skull. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster